So to explain a little bit about this asparagus bed, which I just put in April of this year, April of 2023, I've got a fence around it because I have two dogs. I don't think they like asparagus, but they love to dig in fresh dirt. And if you look at the earlier video I did, which I'll put a link in, to plant asparagus, you need to do trenches, and then you have berms of the soil that you removed from the trenches, and then you're gradually putting it back in. And the dogs would have just had a field day with it, and the asparagus, the baby asparagus, would have been destroyed, not because they hate asparagus, but because they love to dig in the dirt. They say asparagus is pretty easy to grow. The biggest enemy is weeds. And in my yard, that pretty much translates to these, gigantic prickers that can get taller than I am. So that's what I'm going to do today. Even though I've mulched, I've got prickers all over. Okay, let's talk about a few more weeds. This mess, you can see all of this is Creeping Charlie. And it is all over my lot. I think partly because I have more shade than anything else. The only way I have found to get rid of it is to first you just pull it up in big wads. It's very time consuming, but it can be therapeutic. I like hand weeding. In fact, I've thought about doing a video on hand weeding, but I think it would bore everyone to tears. So then I take the hori and go under what's left, because that's where the roots are. And it's very easy today because we had a whomping thunderstorm last night that wasn't even forecast. I love Midwest thunderstorms. It was fantastic. And if my dogs hadn't been barking at the thunder, I would have slept like a baby. Okay, so see how this goes? Yeah, it's nice and wet. I haven't come up with an easier way to do it. If anyone has an easier way, let me know. But anyway, so that's how this works with the Creeping Charlie. The other thing that I have a ton of is violets. Our violets, excuse me. So I usually go pretty deep, and now it's easy because, like I say, I think we had like 2 inches. At least I had containers out. And this, I think these are kind of cool. I didn't realize this till I cleared everything for the asparagus bed, but these are the violet rhizomes, and that's how they spread. And you really want to get rid of all of them. I mean, I like violets in the spring, but I don't like them so much in the winter, and then when they go away and you have bald spots. So these are the rhizomes, and I just compost this stuff once I get it up. So these are 2 of the 4 big weeds that I have, and I'll show you 2 more. So I showed you the tops of these, but I thought I would just show you quickly, and I should be wearing gloves. I don't normally wear gardening gloves at all, but taking these out, I do. This is the last patch of big prickers in my yard, and I just mowed the lawn yesterday, but I didn't want to mow the mulch, and I just had my lawnmower tuned up and fixed and got a new blade, and I didn't want to run it over all these wood chips. But anyway, these come out quite easy, and not even just because it was raining, but except for the prickers, they're pretty wimpy. Yeah, so I will do all of these probably tomorrow, but yeah. So that's it for prickers. And I don't know if you can see, but I'll show you, there's still a ton of Creeping Charlie. See? And this is in my backyard. Yeah, so that is all gonna have to go. Or I'm thinking I may just make this like a seating area and put pavers over it. So now let's go find the last weed. Okay, I have to say it was hard to find these. I hand weeded we're in my front yard now, and I hand weeded the whole thing. There's still some around, and I know that they'll grow back. I'm not a firm believer in I know you're supposed to get the roots all the way, but I found at other places I've lived, if you just keep doing it, after a couple years, you've got a really good handle on them. But see, with these, I just go down a ways, and usually you can hear like a snap. I don't know if you guys could hear that. That's not the whole root, but it's a lot of it. And I feel bad because, let's see if you guys can see these. These are pretty little, but you get the idea. So that's it. So now we can get back to the asparagus. But these are the things, the three things I fight with in the asparagus garden, bed, pen. So I'm going to be weeding, putting a little more mulch down the path. The weeding is done. So here's a little tour of the current bed. As you can see, we've now got a free mulch patch down the center, which will definitely go down as I walk on it. Let's look at the outside. So here we have some garden decor, more of my bowling balls, a morel mushroom, something I found in my garage that will make a better gate, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I need to find more zip ties. Oh geez, more bowling balls, more mushrooms, more weeding needed to be done. You can see that the fence was definitely put together only with things I could find in my garage. Different size and quality T-posts, a trellis that actually I really like, and this is the back of the bed. And see these long things? This is where I put the berm when I dug the trenches over where the asparagus is. Next year, I'm going to put tomatoes here, because I read a great article that said tomatoes and asparagus go together. And I also need a third year of places to put tomatoes, so that will be good, and then I can go back. Oh, and here comes the princess. She's got to check everything out. What do you think, Xena? And Feral Girl will probably not come outside. But anyway, that's Xena, half of the girls. Here's the other side. I've got some solar lights, some big thick asparagus, which I'll go inside and look at in a minute. And this is probably the weirdest side, because it's all crinkled and I couldn't really, it's all weird anyway. And here is what I'm using for a gate right now, so they don't get in there when I'm gone. But there's a few more things. Oh, there's another mushroom. And solar lights, which look pretty cool at night. But I wanted to show you all the different permutations of the asparagus, how it grows, and this bending over. I don't know. I've read that it's okay, but it kind of creeps me out. Some of the stuff I have put, uh-oh, did I do that today? No, I don't think so, but geez. Yeah, it just makes me want to go get some bamboo stakes. Oh, here it is. No, I did not do that, because this was a while ago. Great. Could have been the storm. And this is the last thing. This is just dense. It's, what do we got? Oh my God, it looks like it's two things maybe, but just, it's like a little rat's nest. It's just very dense. But I think the best thing I can do is water, do one more fertilizing, and just leave it for this season. But I am fascinated by all the different shapes and things that it grows. Okay, so the last thing I want to mention is mulch. As you can see, I just use straw because it's very easy for me to get to, and I can just bring it home. I don't have really strong feelings about it. I don't want to use expensive, like, perennial mulch, but it works well. When I first put this bed in, I think it took me 2 weeks before I got the mulch. And I was watering like every other day. The plants were fine, but my water bill was insane. So then I think I've had this mulch down probably a month, and I think I've watered it once or twice. Anyway, and we had this tremendous storm last night. So you can see it's, the bottom of the mulch is wet, the plants are happy, it's already drying out on top. So I would strongly suggest, I'd suggest mulch for all vegetables, well, for everything, but definitely asparagus. He's nice and tall.